Hello, I'm Arthur Perkins, and this is APGamingREAL. We are back for part 3 of our Stars Without Numbers GM prep. This is going to be part 1 of 2 of Starvation Cheap. So I'd like to thank you all for joining me once again. We are going to be doing a faction turn, setting up the factions around the space that we require. But I thought it would be interesting to read from Starvation Cheap the source book we'll be using, what exactly any of that means. So I'm gonna let it talk in its own word. It doesn't have a cool intro thing like Sons of Gold did, where it had a letter from a merchant, but it does have a down-to-earth description. Wherever humanity has known dissent, it has known war. Ultima ratio regum. Wherever there has been a prize to take, a quarrel to settle, or an insult to avenge, there has been war. Despite all the dreams of peacemakers, humanity has never been so clever or so silver-tongued as to banish the specter of war. Humanity's ascent to the stars has not changed this. For every world wired or warped to an inhuman serenity, 1,000 others still teem with the furious passions of battle. No matter how far humanity fares, they bring with them the fires of their own destruction. This book will help you waft those acrid fumes over your gaming table. Starvation Cheap is a sourcebook for planetary warfare and mercenary legions. Within these pages, you will find all the tools a GM requires to create a dedicated campaign of ground warfare, or a far-flung mercenary contract. For those GMs who don't care to build an entire campaign around military framework, those same tools can be used to create wars as a background to events on a planet, or battles that cry out for the intervention of heroes. A commander sufficiently desperate for aid might not look too closely at its providers. The tools in this book are meant to mesh smoothly with the Stars Without Numbers game system, but the great majority of them can also be used in other sci-fi games and settings. The war tags can be used to brew up a planetary conflict anywhere in the galaxy, and the mission tags describe the kind of problems and objectives that are likely to be found on almost any far-flung future battlefield. The strategic mass combat system is easily generalized to other games, with the infantry and armor units you build quickly reskinned into warriors and engines of far different worlds. However you use this book, the key thing to remember is to take only what you need from it. These pages include everything you need to build an entire military campaign from the ground up, but it may well be that your table doesn't need that kind of wholesale support. Your PCs may just be common interstellar freebooters caught up in a larger struggle, cursed to navigate some bloody battlefield in order to accomplish their goals. They might be powerful merchant princes who just want to know how much it'll cost them to hire an army. Go have a chat with some troublesome planetary dictator. They could even be deserters from some dubious battle, trying to dodge the grim consequences of their unlicensed leave as a war churns the world to mud and ash around them. Starvation Cheap is here to support whatever choice you make for your campaign. Alright, so, that gives us the basis. Starvation Cheap's got a lot of tools. We'll be using all of them for the campaign. We'll be doing a mercenary legion rather than a planetary defense company, because staying on one planet and defending it sounds dumb, and going to other places and killing people sounds great. So I thought we'd start by taking an overall look at all these nice sectors we've got here. Oops, did that work? I don't think it did. There we go. I'm going to open all of them up. I want to take an overview look of them, and once I get an idea of what the whole sector looks like, we'll maybe... Sorry, did I open that one? Made a system. No, I'm having a lot of trouble getting these open this time around. And I wonder... Oh boy, somebody... Songwave, thank you for subscribing with Twitch Prime. I actually forgot to turn on Twitch alerts. There it is, but it's too late now. Thanks, buddy. I know you did it. I guess everybody that heard it knows that you did too. I think I'm going to include PM... Oh, Jesus. I Mead Day. Me Day. Or is it Parame Day? I don't know. Alright, we'll just... Oh, there's actually a system called Jesus. 305. Oh, it's the planet on the... Okay, well... Let's take a look at some of these world tags here. I'm pretty sure I just saw zombies on one of them. So once we get a good overview of what the system looks like, we'll then start developing each planet and their factions. You know what? I'm actually going to axe Paramide for the simple fact that we have enough going on here. This is 6. That's a lot. All right. Planet Law. Oh, is this in Paramide? Yes, it is. We're going to skip it. System Katla. I'm going in reverse order then. Cold War and zombies. That is terrifying. I'm going to go ahead and pull up what the zombies tag is. Completely forgot to have that open, so let's do that now. Aliens, faction, world generation. There we go. Start on page 111. If you want to follow along, Stars Without Numbers is completely free on DriveThruRPG and various other locations. And pull the PDF over here. Get a closer look at it. That's real small. Zombies. This menace may not take the form of shambling corpses, but some disease, alien artifact, or crazed local practice produces men and women with habitats similar to the murderous cannibal undead. These outbreaks may be a regular element of society, either provoked by some malevolent creators or consequences of a local condition. I feel like this is definitely gonna be billions of inhabitants, human miscible biosphere, but thin, airless. I feel like it's gonna be some sort of local infection, right? Everybody's gotta use air rebreathers because it's an airless shithole. There's billions of people, and probably someone is using maltech. That's like bad stuff. That's weapons of mass destruction. There's like a maltech cultist who's making zombies, and because it is a Cold War tag, there are two or more different sides. Well, let's see what Cold War says. I'm pretty sure it's 2 sides to the world. They're having a nice Cold War and intelligence battle. They're both accusing the other side of making the zombies. They put most of their resources to fighting the zombies, but some of them to fighting each other, but only when people aren't looking. And that's, I mean, that situation there with 3 forces on planet and one of them a complete wild card definitely sounds like the kind of place where you would like to throw a nice mercenary unit into. Cold War. 2 or more great powers control the planet, and they have hostility to each other that's just barely less than open warfare. The hostility might be ideological in nature or might revolve around control of some local resource. Yup. Gonna be good. Alright. We'll fill this place in later, but that's a good start. Abandoned Colony and Sealed Menace. I'm really concerned as to why it has both of these tags, and yet it still has billions of people. Let's find out. Abandoned Colony. The world might once have hosted a colony, whether human or otherwise, until some crises or natural disaster drove the inhabitants away or killed them off. The colony might have been mercantile in nature, an expedition to extract valuable resources, or might have been a reclusive cabal of zealots. The remains of the colony are usually in ruins and might still be dangerous from the aftermath of whatever destroyed it in the first place. Sealed Menace sounds like it's gonna be great. That's the kind of shit that ends up with, like, dark necromongers and stuff. Something on this planet has the potential to create enormous havoc for the inhabitants if it is not safely contained by its keepers. Whether a massive seismic fault line suppressed by pre-tech terraforming technology, a disease that has to be quarantined within hours of discovery, or an ancient alien relic that requires regular upkeep to prevent a planetary catastrophe, the menace is a constant shadow on the populace. I know what this is going to be. It's going to be a psionic, a very powerful psionic, Darth Sidious style super Jedi with high-level technology. Is going to have all sorts of crazy shit, and he's locked in like a stasis vault that a secret cult is keeping watch over. And yeah, I feel like letting it out would be a bad idea. So of course there's going to be a faction that definitely wants to let it out. Have it feed lives every day to keep it appeased. Oh, that is a good one. Oh, it's going to be even better. It's going to be an alien. It's going to be an alien colony, right? And the alien psyker was stashed away. And when the humans came, they accidentally awoke it. And now they had to keep feeding it sentient beings so it won't break out. Cool. I mean, that makes for a good adventure. It also makes for a good rebellion, right? Like, one group is probably Greenpeacing it. Like, hey guys, listen, we should totally let that creature free. We don't need to keep feeding it things to keep it suppressed. It should be allowed to go out and do whatever it does, okay? So we're just going to kill our way into the building, taking out everyone in our path. It's fine. They're trying to suppress that guy's nature. And then he'll be free. Alright, Planet Manisha in Vulgaropolis has heavy industry and psionic sphere. I mean, psionic sphere is pretty straightforward. Hundreds of thousands of inhabitants, tech level 4. I'm seeing a lot of tech level 4. We have not had a lot of 2, 1, and 0. And so if there aren't any so far, I'm going to do some editing. Hello, Zonalar. How you doing? Let's do psionic sphere first, because I'm right next to that. The locals are terrified of psionics. Perhaps their history is studded with feral psychics who went on murderous rampages. Or perhaps they simply nurse an unreasoning terror for these mutant freaks. Psionics demonstrate their powers at the risk of their lives. And we're looking for heavy industry. With interstellar transport so limited in the bulk it can move, worlds have to be largely self-sufficient in industry. Some worlds are more sufficient than others, however, and this planet has a thriving manufacturing sector capable of producing a large amount of goods appropriate to its tech level. Locals may enjoy a correspondingly higher lifestyle, or the products may be devoted towards vast projects for the aggrandizement of the rulers. This is Vargolopolis. Interesting. Being awake for 24 hours doing art. You're a crazy person. What do we think about this world of Manisha? Sonic Sphere, I mean, there's not much to go on there. Heavy industry is interesting, though. I feel like this is going to just be like a blah planet. There's not a lot going on with it right now. Tech level 3. Freak geology and freak weather. Well, fortunately, Fs are very close to each other. The geology or geography of this world is simply freakish. Perhaps it's composed entirely of enormous mountain ranges, or regular bands of land and sea, or mineral structures, all fragmented into perfect cubes. Locals have learned to deal with it, and their culture will be shaped by its requirements. Freak weather. The planet is plagued with some sort of bizarre or hazardous weather pattern. Perhaps city-flattening storms regularly scour the surface, or the world's sun never pierces its thick bank of clouds. I like the idea of a world that's shaped like a cored apple. that's being held together by some sort of weird gravitational pull in an asteroid field. And the apple core part, like the core, is covered in mist all the time. And you can only live in the part covered by mist because at the poles, the large circular poles, the sunlight will kill you. And so everybody always lives in super mist. I think I'm going to go with that. It's this one. There we go. Planet China, Tortoise sector. Yeah, they'd be a kind of mistborn. Pre-Tech Cultist and Feral World. I gotta tell you, I've played a lot of this game and I've never seen Pre-Tech Cultist before, so I don't know what it is. Temperature is burning hot. Millions of inhabitants. Feral World. In the long, isolated night of the silence, some world have experienced a total moral and cultural collapse. Whatever remains have been twisted beyond recognition into assorted death cults, xenophobic fanaticism, horrific cultural practices, or other behavior unacceptable on more enlightened worlds. These worlds are almost invariably classed under red trade codes. I'm curious how it got so high in tech level. I really want to cut it down to like a tech level 2 or 3. Feral World with pre-tech cultists. The capacities of human science before the silence have vastly outmatched the technology available since the scream. The jump gates alone were capable of crossing hundreds of light years in a moment, and they were just one example of the results won by blending psychic artifice with pre-tech science. Some worlds outright worship the artifacts of the ancestors, seeing in them the work of a more enlightened and perfect humanity. These cultists may or may not understand the operation and replication of these devices, but they seek guard them jealously. So I feel like that's why they're tech level 4. Let me spit a little bit of thought at you. There's just 2 enclaves. One is a smaller, maybe 1 million person population of interbred. I mean, with 1 million people, it's hard to interbreed, but probably they started with a lot fewer than 1 million because that's how things work. And so they all have some sort of related genetic tree. The point is, they're pre-tech cultists. They live in a compound full of very high technology, stuff that allows you to manipulate gravity or shear apart planets. And the rest of their planet fell into feral worlding, right? They went the exact opposite way. They're like knights with swords. And I'm not talking Jedi swords, I'm talking actual swords. But the thing is, there's like 100 million of them. And sure, the pre-tech cultists might be able to wipe them out, but probably they'll be dead. And that makes for a really good battle. That makes for an excellent battle between 2 forces that someone could step in and help solve. I feel like that's going to be very... So, you know, if the players step in to help the crazy people for some reason, you know, players, they just do the craziest shit. It'd be them backed by armies of millions fighting, you know, thousands of soldiers, but all of the soldiers have force fields and really sick guns and stuff. And so the player's job would be to, like, deprive them of the advantages necessary to allow a 1 million person army to begin slaughtering 1,000 people. So they'd be like tech specialists. On the other hand, if it's they join the pre-tech cultists, the pre-tech cultists don't need, you know, better weapons, but what they do need is someone willing to go out there and get their hands dirty, and probably to do the Starship Troopers thing, where they draw in a huge number of people to try to kill them, and then the pre-tech cultists show up and are like, we're here to rescue you, but that was the plan the whole time. We wanted you to draw the enemy out. We didn't tell you that. Because it needed to look good, I guess. Planet Dulanto. System ISIS. Wow, Psionics Academy and Perimeter Agency. Holy shit. What system is this? Is this the last one? ISA? This is going to be a good planet. Wow. Tech level 2. All right. There we go. 19th century, 1800s. So the important part is that they have a Psionics Academy. So while these, and they have a Perimeter Agency. So let me describe the Perimeter Agency for you. These people are great. Before the Silence, the Perimeter was a Terran-sponsored organization charged with rooting out the use of Maltech technology banned in human space as too dangerous for use or experimentation. Unbraked AIs, gene-engineered slave species, nanotech replicators, weapons of planetary destruction. The Perimeter hunted down experimenters with great indifference to planetary laws. Most Perimeter agencies collapsed during the Silence, but a few managed to hold on to their mission. Though modern Perimeter agents often find more work as conventional spies and intelligence operatives. So these guys have been, through the years, they probably are tech level 3. They're like 20th century. And they've kept like radios in secret bunkers and stuff. And they use filing cabinets, you know, high level technology. And they almost certainly will be people that will hire the PCs, not to fight on their world, but to fight on that world that had Maltech research on the other place. Yes, these guys are going to hire people. Psionics Academy is more interesting because while these guys might not have good technology, having psychics really offsets that. For one simple reason. In Stars Without Numbers, psychics are unparalleled wizards. They're so much more powerful than everyone else at a ridiculous level. So, yes, you could shoot somebody with a gun. However, a 5th level psychic will be able to pull that gun from your hand and then have the gun shoot you in the face. Or, more probably, they'll pick you up and slam you into the side of a building several times until you're dead. 5th level psionic is able to not just raise the dead, but talk telepathically with everyone around them. Yeah, they're powerful. So let's talk Psionic Academy. This world is one of the few that have managed to redevelop the basics of psionic training. Without this education, a potential psychic is doomed to either madness or death, unless they refrain from using their abilities. Psionic academies are rare enough that off-worlders are often sent there to study by wealthy patrons. The secrets of psychic mentorship, the protocols and techniques that allow a psychic to successfully train another, are carefully guarded at these academies. Most are closely affiliated with the planetary government. I feel like they're going to be a huge hippie commune, you know? They, it's a low-tech level world, so they probably have, you know, like a island or something, or maybe they have their own continent. A small continent, you know, not Australia, but like New Zealand. Which, yes, it isn't a continent, but stick with me. And they, you know, they just like are like, let's go out into nature. Yeah, they're more like druids on this world. They're caretakers. But the problem is all of their lessons are taught by instructors, right? Psychic training isn't something you can learn by reading something. It has to be taught mind to mind and is specific to the student. So the tech level doesn't matter in this case for anything less than, do they use tablets of stone or do they use tablets of Apple? You know, an Apple tablet, an iPad. Is it at least a floating continent? No. Low-tech world. Not that crazy. All right, I think we got a good basic overview of the area. So let's go in and fill in the blanks here. And start locking things down. So, system is Katla. Not this one. Sector, we're looking for Katla. And the planet is... Oops. I need to hold it over here so I can still see it. Goizargi. These are the people that are having a Cold War, so thin atmosphere. Everyone is required to have a rebreather. There is a group of Maltech cultists who infect rebreathers, create a massive wave of cannibalistic human zombies. Two sides of a Cold War accuse each other of funding the cultists. Most of their armies are used to fight the zombie menace, but special forces and intelligence are used to battle each other. So, we need several things. We need a nationality or a religion. What common cultural basis does this world have for its two opposing sides? Right? I don't really know what to go with. Let's see here. Femme fatale, sinister government agent. I am kind of thinking a voodoo thing going on. Not frogs. Get the fuck out. I wonder if having like a Caribbean for one side. And maybe like a Greek for the other. That's an interesting matchup. I think I'm going to go with that. The Caribbean faction. Oh, and it's probably super racist against the Caribbeans too because of zombies. Stop oppressing Kekistanians. Jesus. Laissez-faire, open society, drug use, music, culture, violence. The Grecian nation Ptolemaios is closed, intellectual republic, senator. Representing the people's will. Okay, that gives us three sides that definitely want to fight each other and don't. And they also kind of have a national identity. Next up, we have the Meda system with planet Arnora. This is the abandoned colony with the sealed menace. So, former alien colony. Let's get a good alien name here from the aliens list. Alien races. The Chemo. A powerful chemos psionic was sealed away beneath their prisons. Humanity occupied their seat of government and unwittingly almost unleashed the beast. It now demands daily blood sacrifice of humans, or it threatens to break free. Attempts to defeat it with anything less than nuclear force have failed. So, what kind of people live on this world of Arnora? It's breathable, it's temperate, it's got billions of people on. They're perfectly willing to sacrifice others to get things done. They move in on alien planets. I'm thinking something in Eastern European, maybe Baltic. I kind of like a Baltic feel, actually. Mediterranean. Yeah. I don't know much about the Baltics, but it's interesting to have that as a nationality in the game, and I'll certainly learn more. People are stern, serious, and share hereditary ties to the Baltics. Alright. Now we go to the crazy planet that will almost certainly be fighting another planet. Volgaru. With the planet Manisha. This has the heavy industry and psionic sphere tags. Industrial leader for the sector. America based, including Canada and Mexico in its ethnic makeup. Very insular people, unwelcoming of others, requiring heavy random testing for psionic abilities and the MES drugs. But what do we know about the people? How do they live? You'd be afraid that a psionic would kill you alone, so they probably... Cities are sectioned off, so only residents can be there. Visitors get a day pass. Everyone lives in massive open barracks and can request temporary access to private rooms. However, sleeping together helps everyone believe you aren't a psionic. So I love the idea of whatever the world's version of political parties is, they all sleep in barracks together as well. So you live with the people you work with, quite literally. It's the system Dota with the planet Clyde. Planet is apple core shaped. Ends are hit by deadly laser sun. Inside the core is a mist that blocks atmospheric radiation. Only living under the mist curtain will survive. Very difficult to see far. Tech level 3, so it's 20th century. Probably there's a lot to do with mining. I like that idea of it being a tourist destination and a mining town all wrapped up into one. Which side of the core you rotate to. Culture is heavily influenced towards welcoming strangers and has a unique guest right for coming out of the mist. So guest right is a tradition where you get bread and salt, like in Game of Thrones. Someone comes in your house, you welcome them, you give them bread, you give them salt, and you say, if anything happens to you, I will protect you. And so if someone comes stumbling out of the mist near your house, you say, protect you. The system is Thordis. Planet is Shina. And what we've got here is a planet split in two. Retech cultists known as the Redeemers of Man hold a 1 million person compound sectioned off with advanced tech. Screaming feral cultists attempt to constantly overcome the tech. They have hundreds of millions of lives to throw at this. Cultists are TL2 swordsmen and crossbows. And finally, we've got System Aya's Planet Delanto. And these are small faction of semi-covert perimeters. Use recovered TL3 radios and radios, weapons, technology to investigate, obliterate, and prevent Maltech crimes. Much of their time is spent fundraising to afford conflict step in against Maltech on other worlds, specifically Kulta. Regular population extremely welcoming of druid-like psionics who train on Dulanto. Alright, chat, I'm completely throwing this to you. What kind of culture do the normal people have here? What with the psionics, the people that live here, it's TL2, so 1800s, like Victorian, post-Civil War era kind of stuff. I want to know what culture we have that surrounds us and guides our psychics down their path. Because if the party has a psychic, they almost certainly will probably. The name of the highest psychic is given the name Odin. Very well. My question is it Icelandic Vikings or is it Danish Vikings? Is it Norway Vikings? Like, what like, Viking is more than one culture. Viking refers to a wide umbrella. When most people say Viking, they usually mean Danes, I think. They're the ones that went out in the longboats and raided the English. The Icelandic Vikings, I guess, kind of did that, but they mostly raided the Irish. Norwegian, beards for days equals psychic power. The bigger your beard, the more psychic power you have. Alright, cool. Skazarni. Set aside their use by local Norwegian expatriates. Cesarni. So, it's time to make factions. I think immediately the perimeter faction for IAS is going to show up. So, let's do it here. No, let's do it over here. Need to make sure that I have a way of distinguishing between two sides. Perimeter agency. Danish Vikings are the most historically significant. Okay, and they're based on Ias Delanto. Their homeworld is... say which sector it is. Alright. IS is 0502. And they're gonna get the planetary government tag. Probably everybody on this is gonna get the planetary government tag to start with. And I think it's pretty easy to give them the perimeter agency tag. Perimeter agency tag. We'll have to hop down to factions to get exactly what that does. Books. Blah, blah, blah. Nope, that's... Scepter Archive, Psychic Academy. Well, I think giving them Psychic Academy would be pretty good. Faction... once per roll, the faction can also force... yeah, I like that. Love is not admissible evidence. Alright, they can force a rival faction reroll 1d10. That's going to make them very popular at stepping in during wars. And is more powerful than the perimeter agency by far, which allows them to roll an extra d10 against any attack that requires a TL5 to purchase. Because there's literally no TL5 at all. So that will not be a useful trait. Next faction up is going to be whatever is on... oops. Thordis, the planet Shina. I actually want to have the screaming, horrible millions of people have their thing, have their faction. I feel like they're more like... The TL5 cultists, there's only 1 million of them. They're not very influential, right? They're hugely hegemonic. What would the name of a screaming horde of angry, basic non-humans, right? I mean, they're human in genome. They're human in every way, but their culture is crazed, insane people. And they're going to get planetary government and savage. But what do we name it? Once per turn, this faction can roll an extra die when defending an asset that requires tech level 0 to purchase. Good. Let's see if we can come up with some faction names. I'm sure there's political groups. Cool. The Homeland Commune, the Jade Pact. I actually like that one. Steel Combine. I actually like that one better. That's a good one. We're the Steel Combine. We've turned our souls to steel. We aren't weak like the rest of you humans. Don't underestimate us. Alright, and they are from Thordis, which is 0501. The flesh is weak. Next up, Dota Clyde. I don't know if these guys are actually going to have a faction. They're super peaceful dudes and miners. I don't feel like they'd be involved in interstellar politics. Let's step instead to Volgaropolis and the planet Manisha. These are super insular anti-psychics, so they're definitely going to have a faction, just so that we're sure to have a war. What would a faction of I like the Jade Pact. Hell yeah, now we got sunlight. They're a planetary government. It's only important because they need to be able to buy stuff. Alright. They have heavy industry, so I wonder if technical expertise is going to be good for them. I wonder if there's another one that says anti-psychic. Planetary government, pirates, savage, Machiavellian, imperialist, fanatic. Oh, I like fanatic. They always lose ties during attacks. They get to reroll ones. It's actually in their best interest to roll small numbers of dice to get reroll. Well, not technically. That's a bad math right there and bad science. Don't listen to me. Next up, System Meta, planet Arnora. It needs to have a faction, and that faction is going to be rebels who want to overthrow the government. So they are not going to have the planetary government tag. And they are going to have the warlike tag because they want to unleash the beast. They want to let that horrible, horrible psionic monster alien free so that they can go on a rampage. And they are called the Screaming something. Oh man, the Screaming Void Mines. Perfect, I'll take it. They want to unleash a psionic. Why wouldn't they be called the Void Mines? I control your moves. How you like my groove, Jackoth? Well done. So Perimeter Agency is probably badly Jade Pact, right? No. Who one's the one fighting the... No, yes. Perimeter Agency fights the Jade Pact. I want to make sure to mark that down. And our final system, Katla Goizargi. Thin Atmosphere Rebreather, Maltech Cultist, Horrible Zombies. I wonder if, I'm going to throw this to you, chat. What's more important to the general universe? Is it a small group of Maltec cultists attempting to overthrow the world and eventually take over the whole universe? Or is it one of the two nations on the world attempting to overthrow the other? Because this is the Cold War planet. These are the two that are at each other's throats. They got culture differences, they got government differences, they got all sorts of problems. And also, there's a secret group of cultists on the world attempting to overthrow both governments and eat their population. So what's more interesting to you? Which do you want to see? Sovereign governments attempting to keep the peace, engaging in intelligence acts across the galaxy, or a screaming horde of raving lunatics who want to eat you and will cause your neighbor to want to eat you too? Hell yeah. Seven 01. Number one. Interesting. All right. What kind of thing are we doing then? Probably imperialists. Spy stories are totally sweet. Then it shall be so. We shall make the spies. And the spies shall come from Ptolemaeus. Very well. So our faction shall be called Wise of Ptolemaeus. And they are the planetary. They are one of the planetary governments. Imperialists. Okay. Rating factor. Minor factions should have 4 in their most important attribute. Next is going to be 3 and 1. Okay. Perimeter agency gets a 4 in cunning. They need to gather up wealth to pay for other people, and they are tech level 2 and 3, so they are not very good at open combat. Steel Combine is a bunch of crazy lunatics. They have a 4 in force, and they also have a whole world full of resources, but they are way behind on tech. Jade Pact. These are from the heavy industry world. They are the hunters of the psychics. I feel like with heavy industry, wealth is not going to be an issue. Neither is force. And they are not so good at the other thing. What? The what? Should end up being 15, 15. Screaming Void Mines. These are the insane lunatics who want to unlock the beast. Still going to be 15, 15. I don't know why it's having so much problems. What is the issue with the formula? E24. Formulas are way too calculated, and I don't know how it's done. So, secret intelligence agents get 4 cunning, 3 force, and 1 wealth. Same problems everywhere, huh? Okay. Let's talk goals. Haven't heard this one before, so let's see what it sounds like. Goals, goals, goals. Factions, turns, actions, goals. Alright. The Wise of Ptolemaeus will probably want to have an intelligence coup. Prove how super smart they are. They're going to destroy other units, intelligence units. The difficulty is going to be 2. So they need to destroy 4. That's going to take a really, really long time for them. Like a long, long time. Screaming Void Mines don't care about anything except horrible murder. Therefore, they will take Blood the Enemy. Blood the Enemy is inflict a number of hit point damage on an enemy faction equal to your faction's total score. The Jade Pact, they are psionic killers, and they are going to want to try to destroy the Perimeter Agency. So I feel like they're going to take the goal, destroy the foe. And more importantly, Perimeter Agency is going to have the same thing. And their foe is the Jade Pact. Steel Combine. When's the Steel Combine? They're in 501. Are these the crazy people? And who's the Jade Pact? Nope. These are the crazy people. Screaming Void Mines. They're the ones who want to unlock the... oh, they're going to take Planetary Seizure because it's going to be super easy for them. There's no one to block them currently. They control a planet, becoming literally... Yep. So they're actually just going to take over the planet on their first turn, probably. And it's going to work out great. So the cultists are going to end up in control. How big can a PC-controlled mercenary company get? I mean, there's no limits. It can get massively huge. However, here's the thing about mercenary companies. We'll go over the rules tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, but the next time we do this. Mercenaries are expensive. Maintaining all those guys is a big deal. Each faction... in a not factions like these factions that we're doing right now, each mercenary or planetary army has a number of leadership roles that they can fulfill. And so you could have that many units of any size. You could have 8 battalions, or you could have one giant super army, right? Like one army composed of 8 battalions worth of men. Each flexible unit like that, each battalion will be able to act on its own, but its leadership score would be very low, right? It's only got a leadership rating of 1. However, that giant army, while you can't cover 8 objectives at the same time, you can only do 1, which could be a problem. It has all of the leadership capabilities of all 8 of those battalions, and its strength rises accordingly. So while a battalion would have a small rating and a small leadership ability, the power of a large army with lots of leaders in it is a big deal. Because players aren't going to be able to afford giant armies, at least to begin with, the book suggests they start out with just a battalion, and then the battalion has all the rest of the leadership. So that battalion ends up fighting way, way above its power level because it's got so much extra leadership ability. We'll go over the math, but the battalion ends up capable of fighting at the same level of a much larger unit, such as an army. They're able to fight 10 or 15 times their size because they have really solid leadership. Have a good evening, Zonalar. What are we missing here? Steel Combine. These are the crazy people attempting to take over their particular planet. Inside enemy territory. Interesting, but no. They probably want to just go... So actually, these people are crazy and outside human morality, but they need allies to destroy the TL5 people. So they want... I should click that link. Alright, I'm going to click the link. Oh snap, someone designed the guild hall. Pretty sweet. And it looks relatively accurate, which is always a good thing. Thank you, Zonalar. Zonalar. Alright, let me save it into the fan art pile. I'm rolling around in a pile of fan art. Expand influence. Play a base of influence on a new planet. I like how you think a battalion is huge. This is the space future where there are billions of people. A battalion is not that big. In fact, a battalion is the smallest unit you can have in a Mercenary Legion campaign. Units smaller than that are incapable of independent action. So what I like about Starvation Cheap is instead of playing to like shoot 'em up and adventuring, you can actually just play at the meta army level and do kind of a wargaming thing and end up with like theaters of millions or billions or even trillions of people fighting each other and still have it very easy to control and keep track of. It's kind of like Savage Worlds in its scalability. I'm really having trouble placing what these people want to do. They want to get another faction on their side, but there's nothing like that. And they're crazy, insane cultists. Take control of a planet coming. How saturated is the mercenary market? Probably each planet has a mercenary company on it. You know, a mercenary hiring hall. Because, I mean, we're specifically making it like this. So probably there's 7 or 8 other mercenary units rolling around. But at any given time, they could be retraining or re-equipping or having internal struggles or just taking a break. Or obviously fighting somebody's war somewhere. I wonder if these guys should... They have planetary seizure, but I wonder if they should go to another person's territory. I'm gonna give them... What's the one where you expand influence? They're gonna try to land on another planet and take that planet, put a base up so that they can build units there. They're gonna try to take over another planet, but they're gonna do it smart. They're gonna do it slow. And so we need to have them a starship. And they're actually super low tech, so they're gonna have to... No national army. I mean, yes, each of these factions right here have their own national armies. When I say that there's a mercenary company on every world, or more than one, that's like Blackwater, right? They work for the government, but they, you know, they're the best of the best, right? They're the people that join the army. Turns out they're really great at it. But they can get paid 10 times as much by joining a private military company that's really just the government paying them 10 times as much, but then they can wash their hands and blame all their problems on them. P.S. I just spoiled the American military for you. That's how private military corporations work. The really best of the best join the SEALs and the Special Forces and care more about working for America than the dollar influence, but yeah, like every planet's mercenary company is their disposable black ops. Maybe there's some interstellar groups like the Players that will work for anybody anywhere, but probably they're just black ops. All right, each faction is going to get 2 units, one in its best score and one in another score. So we need to go to the asset tracker and set up... Oh, shoot. It's not pulling everybody up. That's a problem. Only you can store so many factions is probably what it is. State pact. And then we also need Screaming Void Mines and the Wives of Ptolemaios. Okay, well, apparently this overwrites all that other stuff. We need to, and then undo all of them. Screaming void mines. Validates the data. Alright, I'm having all kinds of problems. But I bet you I can solve it by doing something like this. Putting screaming void mines and wise of the tool ios, and then blocking this off so that I remember not to use them, but they should still show up in the asset tracker now. Yep, there we go. Life hacks, everybody. Life hacks. Okay. Perimeter Agency is going to want a starship asset. They need to fight afar, and they need to do it with a cunning wealth. So they need starships under cunning and wealth. What do we got in wealth? Around 4. Shipping Combine allows the transportation of large amounts of equipment and personnel between worlds. As an action, the Combine may move any number of non-force assets, including itself, to any world within 2 hexes at a cost of 1 fat cred. So they are on 502, and they are fighting Jade Pack on 0600, which is 50212. They can move as far as 0500, which is completely uncontrolled. That's the pear-shaped apple planet of Calliope. I wonder if that's going to become the battleground for both sides. Battleground on Dota system. Let's tentatively throw this up here. Shipping Combine. Fills all that in, and it is in X 05. All right, now they get they will have a starship. It is not going to be like a giant shoot 'em up starship. It's going to be a transport starship with little to no weapons to get them between planets. And the starship costs more than half their budget. Cost almost 10 million to buy a starship and then maintain it for a time. Oh snap! I did that wrong. They can only buy. All right, so we gotta undo that. It's not shipping combine. We can't do that. It's only level 3. Oh, they could have mercenaries though. What do they have in level 4 as far as starships? Editionist, tripwire cells, covert shipping. That's always a good one. Any one special forces unit can be moved to any of the worlds within 3 hexes. Is a mercenaries a special forces? No, it's a military unit. Surveyors are special forces. Warriors are special forces. Interesting. Now that's a good one. Or they could hire hitmen. I love that idea. Actually, their tech level is so low, they are going to have to hire hitmen. All right, I'm going to give them that. They're going to have covert shipping. This is the highest tech level thing they have. They get to move units, and then they have some hitmen. They throw hitmen at people. Did not include the hitman stats, huh? 1 HP, 2 cost, 0. They are, well, no, they're force. Type special forces. And they can drop these hitmen directly onto 0600. Jade Pact. Oops, Jade Pact. That's going to probably be their first move in turn 1 is to use their covert shipping to drop people over. Cool. Steel Combine is up next. Steel Combine has 4 force, and they are savage. They're looking to expand. Problem is that their tech level is only 2, so let's look for a 4 force. They can get Cunning Trap or Zealots. Really love the idea of Zealots. Guerrilla Populace is also pretty good. But Zealots is strong. Not translating them over, huh? So they're 4 HP. And Steel Combine is based in Hex 051. Now, they need a Starship asset at Wealth 3. Trader Contract. As an action, they can move any one non-force asset, including this one, to any world within 2 hexes at a cost of 1 frac credit. Okay, freighter contracts. They're going to have to save up and build a non-military unit in order to send them. That was wealth. I think, right? So that's what at the top. The wealth. Freighter contract is 4 hit points. It is a starship. Jade Pact. They are 4 cunning and then 3 force, and they need a starship as well in order to fight back. 4 cunning. Covert shipping's a little on the nose. Don't really want that. Party Machine's pretty interesting. Party Machine would represent their control over the anti-psychic populace. I think I really like that one. They're not going to be strong to start with, but they're going to be very easy to, I think it gives an extra fat cred. So, if allowed to, they're going to ramp up to be very, very powerful. And if they're cut off before then, well, sucks to be them. Party Machine is 10, and it is a logistics facility. You know what I forgot to do is base of influence. I always forget to do that. Cunning, and so a force of 3. Kind of need a starship. Heavy drop S. Transportation resources. Any one non-starship asset can be moved to any world within 1 hex. Alright, so they're not going to be able to go to other planets to start with. So we should probably give them the best ability to defend against invaders. They are going to want Zealots. And Zealots make sense for a world of anti-psychics. They are dedicated to this. That 4 HP, yes it is. Did not move over the attack of a Zealot, but I think we've got one up here. They are located in 0600. Screaming Void Mines. They are in 0700. Screaming Void Mines are looking to take control of their local government and unleash a horrible, powerful alien psychic out into the world. Well, it says Hitman, but it's really just one Hitman who's bald and likes wearing suits. Alright, so these guys are very low tech level. Right? Nope, actually they're super high tech level. Cunning 4. Will 3. They don't have control of their planet. So I feel like giving them Party Machine is not representative. Movement, inspired. Vanguard cadres is pretty interesting, though. People are getting behind the movement. Vanguard cadre. Force. Asset. 12. They're a regular military unit. I absolutely want to get off world. Actually, heavy drop assets. They can move their units off world using a series of starships. Of course, this is cunning. Six is a facility. It doesn't have any stats, does it? None. A? Special A? Okay, and our final faction set up, the Wise of Ptolemaeus. They are looking to destroy enemy cunning assets, so they need to get off this world. They need to go places. They need starships. What else do they have access to? Free force. Man, starships are so high tech level, it's very hard to do anything. Probably heavy drop assets to move to another world. And a very powerful cunning unit to attack other cunning units. Tripwire cells. Angar cadres. Cyber ninjas is interesting. Seditionists. 1d4. Fat creds. Nope. Cyber ninjas sound pretty good. They are 4 HP. Special forces. Alright, and now we need base of operations for, I think it's everybody, right? Carlin. Then these are, okay, so they all have base of operations on their own worlds, even if they don't have planetary control. Jade Pact is located in 0600. The Ys are 0701. Steel Combine is 05. Screaming Void Mines are 700. And Perimeter Agency is 0502. Okay. So, what can we generally say about this conflict? Perimeter Agency sends units to fight Jade Pact. Who was going to expand their influence? Steel Combine. Steel Combine will land on 0500. I think that's what it's called, but let's double check. They're landing on, yep, Dota. Seize the planet. And by seizing that planet, they'll gain access to Tech Level 4 stuff, which is going to drag them from Tech Level 2 up to Tech Level 4 very quickly. What other conflicts are ongoing? Screaming Void Mines will unleash a powerful psychic psionic monster, which will dominate them and shortly after the galaxy. Yep, must get the spaceships pretty quick. All they had to do was catch a ride on somebody's ship, and then they ended up, you know, they were like, hey, we've got like 500,000 people we want to resettle to Dota. They go to Dota, and all the Canadians there are like, oh, hey, mate, how's it going? And they're like, pretty sweet. We've got these swords here, and we're going to fucking chop you up unless you give us your guns. He's like, oh, mate, well, there's like 20 of you and 1 of me. I could shoot you with some of my laser guns, but you might chop me up, so yeah. Take it. I want to see if there's a really powerful psychic unit. Psychic assassins? That's interesting. Is there anything more powerful than that? Demagogue. I think Demagogue has a special thing with it. Let's look at that. Demagogues are popular leaders of the faith. They're a special forces unit. Yeah, I think they're going to unlock a Demigod. But let's just check the last thing. See if there's any psychics. Nope. So, they're going to get a free... which is immediately going to make them the most powerful faction in the galaxy. The Wise of Ptolemaeus, they are looking to just... are looking to prove they are the true masters of their world by stealing intelligence, technology, and data from other worlds, proving their superiority and that the Caribbeans can't be trusted. They are too weak. So they're gonna go fuck with people just to prove that they can. Jade Pact, what do they got going on? Jade Pact. Hell yeah, now we got sunlight. Jade Pact are the heavy industrialists. So yeah, they're the ones getting their ass kicked. Who are we missing? Steel Combine. Jade Pact. Alright, so we have a pretty good idea of all the fighting that's going on in the galaxy right now. On our next episode, we'll be setting up the conflicts on each planet. And based on how those go, the players will get their choice of where they want to go and who they want to kill for money. As the campaign advances, the factions will do fighting. And so every GM turn, which is done outside of the game, we could see these assets have some surprising attacks on each other. And as a result of those attacks, the players will be like, oh, we were going to take a contract for the Perimeter Agency, but now that they've taken out the Jade, the Steel Combine, the Jade Pact, now that the Perimeter Agency has defeated the Jade Pact, there's no reason to go to that world. And so now we've got to look at, 2 shittier contracts we weren't considering before. But now they're all we've got. So, yeah, join me next time for part 4, the final, hopefully final section of pre-setup setup. We won't be talking about adventuring. We won't be setting up any templates. We're just going to be creating world militaries and preparing them for massive conflict fights. We'll also look at what the player Mercenary Legion is going to start off looking like and explaining how they can improve it, either by adding more units or by taking the units they have and making them better. So I thank you for your viewership, my good friends. I'll find someone for you to watch, and have a good night.